I can't believe it's been 10 years since the 2009 Star Trek reboot, and how that reboot came about was after the financial disappointment that was Star Trek Nemesis, the last feature film to feature the next generation cast, and what makes the 2019 reboot of the Star Trek movie interesting, besides the fact it kind of reinvigorated the feature films. Uh, that it was kind of conceived as like an initial idea, as like a prequel story, you know, which would have initially been done after, at the time when the Final Frontier was considered a box office disappointment. They wanted to go back younger, you know, you know, a younger cast playing the younger version of Kirk and company, but at that time, you know, it ended up becoming Undiscovered Country instead, which was the last adventure to feature the original cast. So anyway, in this particular film, I guess as a way of giving the franchise what you would say a clean slate of sorts, while I guess keeping the continuity of the previous films, it takes place like in an alternate timeline, which things that that happened in the prime timeline occurred differently in this alternate timeline. So basically, what happens is a rogue Romulan by the name of Nero, who in the future, Picard's time, witnesses the destruction of Romulus and blames, the prime version of Spock, which of course Leonard Nimoy returns to his role for the first time since, undiscovered country, and he plots, revenge against Spock, and the Federation blames, the Federation for not doing anything to help Romulus, and blaming Spock for promising that he could, I guess, try to stop the supernova which destroyed, Romulus. So basically, because of Nero going back in time, it creates what's considered the Kelvin timeline. It kind of course it changes the history of the Captain James Kirk, and the crew of the original the Enterprise. So that's that. So I will say, I mean, even though the film, after 10 years, it's still a pretty decent film. Even though initially it was conceived as the final outing of with the Next Generation cast, which would have been their fifth and final feature film, which would have had Picard's crew and the crew of Janeway and Cisco, you know, together, which I think would have been a really cool idea. But like I said previously, because of the disappointment, financially and critically, that was Nemesis. Sadly, those plans were scrapped. But it would have been nice to see. But like I said, I guess bringing back, Kirk and company, in their younger versions when they were just starting out in their 5 mission was an interesting idea, and also bringing back Christopher Pike as well. So, like I said, it's a decent film, for what it is. Even though, like I said, it would have been nice to see one more proper adventure at the time with Captain Picard and his crew to give them their last, send off, which Nemesis kind of did, but not exactly like in the way that the Undiscovered Country did for the original cast. But that is what it is in Hollywood, I guess. So that's that. Okay, everyone. Thanks again for watching. Good night.